Okay guys, this is Roxanne, the 2015 Ford Interceptor sedan, EcoBoost. I'm still learning stuff about these cars. My windshield washer won't work. My windshield wipers work. Let's turn this radio off. I gotta
offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD. The war, whether those scars are.
Anyways, so basically,
Tis the season.
I've got windshield wipers, but no squirty squirt. I need that blueberry window cleaner here, and it ain't working. So, yeah, beep, beep, beep. You need too much attention, girl. So, of course, oh yeah, all the stuff has to lock up in this car. It's weird, these cars, all kinds of stuff starts shutting down. Well, anyways, I checked the obvious. I got plenty of the blue juice. I cheated, and over here on the blue port car, since the front end got wiped out on it, I can see where part of the windshield washer motor was, and this plug I can't really get to. The other plug here, which I guess was for the sensor. I don't know which one of these was in there, but anyways, I got a rough idea where that's at. And without taking off the lower valance, under the nose of the car, I can't really get there. And I have to take off stuff under here. So I tried looking down in there as best I could, and you can't reach anything under there because it's all covered up. So nothing in the wheel well, so I literally got to take a whole bunch of stuff apart. I checked all these fuses for continuity that have contacts on them. They're all fine. I looked and visually checked these because these have a little window on them. But I don't know. I just figured if somebody knew, if they'd had this problem with, not necessarily it has to be a police interceptor, just Taurus in general, SHO, SEL, all that stuff is probably the same. But you know, I've just looked, and I didn't take any fuses out or change anything on the car that would have anything to do with the windshield wipers. Everything I've done to the car has been plugging into just outlets and you know, normal 12-volt outlets, and I put an amp in the trunk with a boom box, and just don't have the squirters on the windshield wiper. Don't hear the motor, don't hear nothing. So I'm gonna see if there's some other fuses somewhere, but just dig around. I mean, I found some low clips that were loose and stuff, probably from when they decommissioned the car. And I got this one's got that engine warmer thing here, like Lola does, so I can plug her in and heat up the motor a little bit, at least the crankcase. I'm gonna try and oil this fan here. When it comes to a stop, sometimes I hear a little squeak, so I'm going to put some turbine oil, try and get it down into there. I have another fan motor off of Lola over here, but this car here only has 37,000 miles on it, so I'm like, well, why should I pull stuff off a 70,000 mile car? It's weird. They gave me the license plate with this car. I probably shouldn't have that, huh? But and I got the gun rack, and I got so much stuff with this car. It's ridiculous. So, and then I sent my light bar that was on this car to Cletus McFarland for neighbor. So there's some evidence of light bar removal. But anyways, yeah, if you know anything about this problem, I just don't want to start digging and find out something really simple. I'm gonna take the front end apart anyways, because I'm considering getting a Sienna. I think it's Sienna. I have to look at my other push bar. On the party car, I actually have the aluminum push bar, and Centina manufacturing. I really like this because it's aluminum. The powder coat doesn't like to stick to it because it was powder coated. So I actually do try and be as patriotic as possible, but one of those stickers is covering some powder coat that's missing, and then I got some little rub here from the big flag I ran, so I might end up sandblasting this or hot dipping it to get all the powder coat off, and I might polish this thing out because it's actually aluminum, which is really cool if this was polished out. So I'm gonna probably try and find the aluminum push bar for Roxanne. This is the light bar I want to put actually not on the push bar, because the push bars on these are kind of narrow. My push bar is only going to come from here to here. The factory one that was on this actually was that double hoop type push bar, and that's what these holes were for. What was funny, for the longest time I just assumed that these were for some LED lights that were for the police lights, but I've got a picture of this car in full police drab, if we want to call it that, and the push bar actually comes through here, and then it goes under the front of the car. And there's a little boo-boo on this bumper here. I'm not sure what that was from, but I'd like to just distract from that. I've got another bumper for it. Actually, all the body parts on Lola that weren't damaged, believe it or not, was the front bumper, headlights. The rear bumper got hardly damaged at all. In this car, one of the reasons it got put out of commission, and I was able to get it, was the damage to this door, which I do have a whole other door. It's white, but parts for these cars are hard to come by and they're expensive. So I've got a white door that's got a little bit of damage on it from a 2015 to replace this door over here. I've got plenty of parts on this car, but this car has a non-salvage clean title, and I don't want to take major parts off of that. The reason I'm bringing that up is I got quarter panel damage here. Now, this has actually got some wrap vinyl on it just to smooth it out, because I've been slowly trying to work this all back to so it would look like this. This car here has one dent on the whole actual body. Pretty much the rest of the car is really straight, even including this driver's side front fender. The passenger side front fender, I don't know, I might be able to work with this a little bit, but this whole side of the car seems pretty decent. There's a couple dents. I think they used a forklift to move this because they're really suspicious dents. Oh, that's busted. Oh well. But this car only has a couple minor minor dents in it. And so I'm trying to do little mods here and there. This is actually the trunk lid from that blue port car. That's why it says Flex Fuel on it instead of EcoBoost. These taillights are actually from an SHO SEL Limited. They're actually LED. And I think you've seen in my videos. They're pretty impressive, but this back bumper here is pretty much junk. And I got some issues with the roof. Didn't get any broken windows or anything, but I got some goofy stuff going on. But I have a light bar that I actually want to put. I don't know if this car over here still has its front bumper in it. This is the light LED light bar I want to put. No, this one, there's supposed to be a bumper here. So if Lola wasn't undercover, well, under a cover, I'm going to end up putting this light bar right here, but behind the grill. I think that would look really cool. And then I just noticed that there's a little, you know, there's a little like guard here built into the grill. It's not here. So anyways, this is the actual bumper of the car, which is really strong. And that's where the push bar was mounted, right here and here. And I actually have brand new push bar brackets. The other thing I was talking about when I was commenting on Top Cop Car video, I'm getting horrible at remembering names, but he just subbed my channel and I subbed his channel a while back. He doesn't have the Taurus yet, but he does have the 9C1 Caprice, the front-wheel drive car, and he also has the Crown Vic, which is, oddly enough, and everybody kind of keeps questioning me about it, but I like the Crown Vics better for reliability and safety. These cars are just super fun. I mean, this is by far as close as you can get to a four-door Mustang. I mean, this motor is not the Mustang motor. This is the SHO motor, and let me tell you, this one does not have California emissions on it. Not for sale in states with California emissions. And people ask me, oh, well, what's the big deal about the Taurus? What's the big deal about the Taurus? Well, the big deal about the Taurus is this car, for one, is the non-turbo, normally aspirated, 3.7. This is the Cyclone motor, which they also call a Duratec V6. This motor is the Mustang motor. Air cleaner is the same as the Mustang. The whole motor is the same as the Mustang, except, of course, it's transverse mounted. It has the same heat exchanger like the police interceptors have. This motor right here is not available in any Taurus or Explorer that is not the Interceptor, or I'm calling it Police Interceptor, but it's not technically called, I don't know, they call it Police Interceptor on the window sticker, but this motor that's in here, which is a 3.7 Ti VCT V6, 6-speed transmission, all-wheel drive. This motor is not available in your regular Taurus. You can't get it. And it's still, this is a 130 mile an hour car, whereas the fastest civilian model of a Ford Taurus is the SHO, which is probably a little quicker than this. Not off the line, because this car actually takes off harder out of the hole than from a dead stop than even the twin turbo Interceptors. But like I said, this motor is not available in any version except for a police Interceptor. And the SHO is speed limited from the factory, I think, at about 113 or 116. Somebody who has an SHO is going to tell me what it is and what it isn't. But yeah, you've got all this stuff that's available that you don't get with a regular civilian model Taurus. So, and what the big deal about this one is not only is it an SHO motor, and it's got all the heavy duty stuff, bigger alternator, better cooling system. I've done a couple mods, has a bigger battery. That's not as big a battery as you get in a Taurus. It's smaller than that. But this is a 150 mile an hour speed limited car. And you can't get that anywhere in California new. So this car can't even be sold in California as a brand new car. Period. It just can't. Now, if you find a dealer that has one of these cars actually in stock that's used, and it has at least 7,500 miles on it, then you can buy that car. But of course, it's not brand new anymore. And at this point, you're going to be the second owner. Now, if a dealership, somebody there buys the car and then puts it back into circulation, they can sell it. But this car in this version with the twin turbos is not, it's federally mandated emissions equipment, but not California emissions equipment. And actually, this car isn't California legal either, brand new. You can buy it used, but this car here has 37,000 miles on it. It's the twin turbo. It's the police Interceptor. It's all-wheel drive. And it's kind of cool to have this car here, knowing that you can't even get this car in California new. And I'm still trying to figure out if the police can even have this in California, because I had to take this to a college nearby that has a smog program, a referee station, if you will, which you only have to deal with in California. Yay, California. Because none of the smog shops would touch it. And to smog this car cost me $8.25 because the referee station cannot charge you for any repairs or anything but for the certificate. So it would have cost me like $40 to smog this, regardless if it was completely California approved or whatever. The actual guy who works at the referee station at the college was even like, why didn't they just go ahead and smog it? Because it's not a new car. But if it was a new car, it wouldn't even be in this state. And so I'm kind of curious if anybody knows if they have. I haven't seen anybody do any modifications on the police Interceptor sedans. There's one guy that's been messing around with the police Interceptor utility, which is the Explorer. And so I just kept looking on videos because everybody's doing stuff to Crown Vics. And I had a pile of parts over here from everything I've done to my Crown Vics. And we got bullhorns, old Hirsch shifter, Spectre. I got all kinds of silly stuff that has been on and off of Crown Vics. But this car here, which by the way, this is the good side. I don't think there's any dents on this car at all on this side, except Unfortunately, this car had, well, you can't see it in the dust, but this had some hail damage. Hail, no damage. And of course, I have the Civilian Explorer XET. I don't remember. These are actually off of a Ford Explorer civilian vehicle, but they're 20-inch rims with a 255/50 R20. And you talk about a tight fit. I mean, I can't get my hand in there. That's how tight these things fit. And you know, I dig that. I almost like the under radius deal when they do that on like sport tuner cars or race cars. Now you got more room here because, for one, I'm wearing these tires out from driving it like an idiot. But you see how little bit of room I have there. Again, I can't even get my first part of my hand in there. Here we've had a little bit of rub, I think, when I was compressing it when I hit a jump. Don't repeat that to anybody. This side of the car has the damage, and I'm still trying to pull this out. It's getting better, but yeah, I like having the big tires on it because I get all kinds of ground clearance. Unfortunately, these cars, with the small tires on them that they come with, which I don't think I have any of them laying around in here right now. I think they're all out in the slug bug truck or the smart car flatbed. Anyways, this is what you get on the brakes on the police interceptors. Springs are bigger and heavier. Shock shafts and shock absorbers are thicker. The front brakes are huge. Of course, these are all rusty because, this hasn't been driven since I've owned it. There's the Duratec Cyclone motor. Here's some extra wiring for speakers and lights. I think this side has some cleaner parts here. Yeah, look at the size of the control arm bushings there. I mean, that is, let me get my hand down there. I'm 6'6", and I got pretty big hands. Look how big that thing is. This is like truck parts in here. It's insane how big some of these parts are. Look at the axle shaft. That's just for the front drive. There's the side of the transmission. There's still some bark in there from when this thing wrecked. So, let's go back here and look at the rear. Like I said, these mounts, this substructure, oddly enough, the rear axles, which I wanted to show you, that's the rear axle. It's about half the diameter of the front axles. So, and all this stuff isn't as heavy duty, but it's still stronger than what you get on your standard everyday car. Coils on these on this suspension, the size of this wire is a little bigger, and of course you got really big brakes even in the rear. And look at all the meat left on these. Let's see if we can get a picture in there. You can't really see it. But anyways, so just to give you an overview of what's available on these on these actual really big cars. This one came with new brakes, front and rear. They're definitely not new anymore because I've gotten on the binders quite a few times. But look how big the rotor is on the rear. I mean, I've got some rotors over here from a, and then look at these. Now, these are the, I got new rotors over here and new brake pads for the Blues Sisters car, which is the Scottsdale, Arizona car. I can't move all this, it's too heavy, but these are rotors from the rear of a police interceptor. I got the slotted and drilled rotors that I'm probably going to put on the party car because I drive it kind of, I don't know, I drive everything kind of fast and stupid. So I ought to make a parody video of Fast and the Furious, just called you know, Faster and Delirious. Or like Dumb and Dumber, where they got Dumb and Dumber. Or I'm gonna do the Fast and the Delirious or something. So anyways, my videos usually turn into something more than they started with, because there's the ADD in me. So, but I figured while I have a hood open, while I have some time to give some explanation to these cars nobody else is doing. I don't know anybody's doing any mods on these cars. I've done the blow-off valve. I've done the Can-N. I did the exhaust muffler delete and put some nice tips on the back, which are really turning out good. They're kind of getting a bronze color to them. And there's the new pipe that replaces where the mufflers went. Here's a lot cleaner suspension than the other car that I just showed you, because it's a lot newer car. But those exhausts are turned out really good. And then I'll show you the bottom of the party car, because I didn't know that window was open. This is where her mufflers used to be. So now there's stainless pipe coming from the H pipe up there. I still left the cats in the front. There's no resonators. So there's brand new pipe there where the mufflers used to be. And I just run the stock exhaust and everything else. So, and then for comparison, oh, here's the mufflers from the party car. Oh, and here's the front bumper. You get to see, I was talking about, this is the front bumper on Lola. And what is that? It's not even, I don't remember seeing that. But anyways, this is a pretty thick bumper on it, and it's not damaged. So this is where I'm going to be mounting the push bar and the that light bar and some other surprises that I think people are going to be really jazzed about. Here's I think the transmission cooler here, and of course there's the intercooler up there, condenser, radiator. It's all stacked on top of each other. And these are the smaller wheels and tires. These are the police interceptor wheels and tires that belong on it, just the wrong hubcaps. And then working on the blue car a bit. Got different tires on it, put some drag radials on it, cleaned up the frame and the suspension, and just did some touching up. So anyways, I'll try and post a video at least a couple times a week, since I've got some subscribers now I need to entertain. This is Little Goose, which is going to be a part of my modifications to Lola. It's actually going to be part of Lola. It's going to be a motorcycle in the car in the back, and I can't explain it right for you to know until you see it, because I'm turning Lola into a Mad Max car. So it's getting chilly in here. I got to work in the morning. I'm going to put Roxanne to bed, drive the party car home, come back and get my work truck's got to go in the morning to get a radiator in it. So I'm going to be using the party car for work tomorrow. So you guys enjoy the video, and thanks for the subscribers, and look forward to seeing you guys' videos soon. I'll actually give a shout out all the subscribers of the channels I actually watch, and then we'll just go from there. Thanks for watching.